Hey, what is up, everybody? It is Licinity. You can call me Sin, and we are back for another episode of Ladies Night. This is going to be episode number 7, which is kind of crazy. I can't believe that we've had so many episodes, but it's really cool to be able to keep doing this and kind of have the community show up and support. It just kind of goes to show that like we're making a difference here, and that's all I want to do. So, welcome everybody. Episode is going to be powered by AverMedia and Glitch Energy. So, shout out to them for sponsoring today's episode, and also a big hefty shout out to HCS. We have drops. So the community has drops today, so you can watch for 1 hour and 30 minutes, and you can claim the Gladiator's Edge, which is the coding that I wear all the time. If you ever run into me in matchmaking, it's my absolute favorite. Or you can get the Got Milk Spartan ID or emblem. So those are going to be running for you this whole show period in chat, and go ahead and claim those for you. And even after the show is over, there's a bunch of other drops that are going on today in the community. So we'll make sure that we raid someone who also has drops, so that way we can keep the progress going. So shout out to 343 and HCS. Thank you for the drops, and thank you for coming through and just saying what's up. Ryan, thank you for the follow, and Loop and Valentine, thank you so much. We got a lot of new friends in here. What's up, John? Welcome in. Trees, hello. So we got a lot of fun new people in here. What's up, Juan? Oopsie, hi everybody. I appreciate everybody coming in. Thrandle, welcome in. Welcome to the show. I hope that you all have a good day. Wildfire and Gamers Feud too. So sick. Which also, you guys, on Saturday I will be in the Gamers Feud Tournament of Champions. So that my Halo little get together team that we had, we won, and now we are back with them. So going to be doing an event there on Saturday. It should be a lot of fun, so make sure that everybody sticks through. Before we start, we're going to kind of review last week's episode, because I know it's kind of been a little bit. So last week's episode, we did the HCS Arlington follow-up. We had the all-girl in control Halo roster here, except for one of them. One of them couldn't make it, but we had Lady Apricity, Gun Goddess, and Zell, and Butoria is the one who couldn't make it, so we sent the raid over to her after and kind of showed her love in that way that we could, the best way that we could show her support. So if you guys missed the full episode, I actually have it right here, and it is going to be right here, and you can go look. Oh, maybe it's not going to be right there. I'll ask John to post it in there for me, but it'll be on my YouTube. I have a YouTube command in there, and you can find that episode and all of the other episodes of Ladies Night on YouTube. I'm also going to start pulling some clips here and there, so we have some more additional content to look at. So, and let's talk HCS news. A lot has happened. We're going to start something off with something like really cool, though. Two things that are really cool with HCS news. One thing that's cool for the community, and one thing that like I want to pat myself on the back for. I'm going to start with the thing that's really cool with the community. They released the community calendar, and if you look at it, there's drops almost every single day, every single week for the whole entire month of April. As a community, that is absolutely incredible, because a lot of these are community ran events. Every single day but 5 days in the month of April has drops available for you in one way, shape, or form on someone's Twitch channel. And that is so cool. Like that right there just shows that like the community is really like kind of sticking in together. We're giving everybody more content. We're doing what we need to do to kind of put blood into the Halo ecosystem. And it's really cool to look at that calendar and see all of that, which brings me to the next part. HCS put Ladies Night on the calendar again, not once this month, but twice. So I'm going to give myself a round of applause, but not just because we reached the calendar twice. It's bigger than that. I thought about it yesterday. This means that Ladies Night has been the first community podcast and community Halo podcast. Let me see how I want to phrase this. Ladies Night is the first only stand-in Halo community spotlight podcast or talk show to be featured on the HCS calendar 3 times in a row. So it's the only repeating event too, aside from like grassroots play days or something, but it's the only stand-in repeated event that has been on the community calendar, and that's fucking incredible. And I couldn't do that without all of you. So I just wanted to kind of, bring that up. Like, I think that's absolutely incredible. And because we have shown HCS in the community that like, yo, we got a badass women community out here and like I want to spotlight them, and because the shows have been doing well, they've been featuring us more. So I just wanted to like kind of say that and be like, yes, I did it. So Ladies Night is the first and only stand-in Halo community spotlight podcast and talk show to be featured on the HCS community calendar more than once. So thank you so much to HCS for believing in my little vision. And thank you so much to all of the viewers, because without all of you and all of the support from you, this would not be possible. So that is like the big thing that I wanted to talk about. But we're going to keep it going on, and we're going to go to topic number 2, which is the yappening. Part 2 just dropped. Free 20 tier battle pass, bunch of grunt stuff. I love grunts. Tons of new cosmetics, new weapon coatings and charms and all of that jazz. There's going to be a new arena map called Corrosion that's going to be dropping later on in the operation. So no exact date yet, but that should be kind of dropping soon. And there is a new game mode called Grunt Apocalypse, which is actually really fun. I also played a really fun game mode by Art or Bloodshot where I got to use a rocket launcher and shoot suicide grunts across the map, and they ran around with grenades and attacked my team. So that was also a fun little custom game. So that just happened. So the yappening is out now. It's out, I believe, for I don't know exactly how many days it is, but long enough for you to grind it out, kind of get everything in the battle pass and all that fun stuff. Topic number 3, tournaments. We got a lot of tournaments that are coming up. The most important thing with the release of the calendar, HCS accidentally leaked the next women's tournament. So surprise, there is a LBT women and Women of Halo 2v2 that is going to be on Saturday. Is that Saturday the 13th, or is it Saturday? I might have just wrote down the wrong date. Saturday the 13th, I believe. Let me, there's the calendar. Thank you so much. Saturday the 14th. Is that what that says? 13th. So sorry. Saturday the 13th is going to be that tournament. So they nonchalantly just leaked that we have a women's tournament coming up. And I just want to remind everybody that I do have Women of Halo commands in chat. And if you are a woman in the Halo space and you want to participate in one of these tournaments, but hey, maybe you don't have anybody to play with, or maybe you've never done this before, so you don't really know how the process goes. Women of Halo has a free agent list. You can contact them and you can ask them to add your name and your gamer tag to this free agent list, and then that way it's out there and everybody can see. And again, too, these tournaments are something that we encourage absolutely everybody to participate in. I think I'm going to be participating in it as well with my duo Sarvana. But yeah, anybody can do it. Like, sign up. We want more women to play. Sign up in these tournaments, and the more people that we get to sign up and the more women that we get to sign up for women's tournaments, the more tournaments that we'll have, because we're showing that there's a desire for it in the community. So I think that you all are doing a great job with supporting, and I can't wait to see. I think this is going to be an absolute huge year for women, like women specifically in the Halo community. Like, I can tell you that we have a lot of things cooking in the background. When I say we, I say we because I have things that I work on that I tell Women of Halo about, and we kind of talk together to kind of figure out where all of the events are, because we don't really want to double book events, and we want to make sure that there's a lot of events and kind of a variety of events, right? So we kind of work together as a collective, and the conversations that I'm hearing are really interesting and really cool, and I can't wait for everybody to kind of find out more about that. So it should be really, really cool. And what's up, Sage? Thank you for the follow, too. Thank you also. Command Station's mom just followed me. Thank you so incredibly much. And then another tournament is the Cloud9 5K Showdown. That's going to be on this Saturday, the 6th. And you can watch that on twitch.tv Cloud9 or on twitch.tv/LVT Halo, because they are going to be doing a B stream. So I believe that they are also going to have their talent there in casting. And I believe it's Tools and Why Not who are going to be on the main broadcast. There's a lot of familiar team names that are signing up so far. We have Cloud9 that's signed up. You have Complexity signed up. Rebellion's on there. Native Gaming, Space Station, FaZe Clan. But there was a couple names that I didn't see. I didn't see Optic on there. I didn't see Sentinels. I didn't see Sentinels on there at all. So I didn't see, well, I do believe too, this is also a North American tournament. So it would make sense why Quadrant or any of the Mexican teams that are really good, like the lower roster and stuff, why they're not able to participate is because it's a North American tournament. But there are some teams that are there and some not, some that aren't there. So I'm kind of wondering what's kind of going on in the background. Are people just kind of taking a break? They have other things that are coming up that they need to like kind of divert their focus on. I'm personally really hoping that maybe we see Sentinels kind of pop up in there. I really would like to see a Sentinels, come back. I know that they did not have the best time in Arlington, and I know it was completely off. So I just read John's comment, and I was about to say that as I was talking. But I hope that they do come back, and we kind of, see that on there too. So that would be really cool. Now we're kind of gonna talk about this week's show. So this week's show, really exciting show, actually. I have three really, I call them heavy hitters. And when I say heavy hitters, I mean heavy hitters in not just the women community, but the esport community and the Halo community as a whole. I think that all three of them kind of solidified themselves as like a name that holds weight in the community. Which is really, really cool. I think that you can ask men and women alike if they know any of these people, and they would be like, yes, I do know that person, and they would say something great about all of them too, beyond just like, oh, she's pretty or something like that. And I think that they're all absolutely incredible people. So I have three guests this week. Number one is going to be the CEO and founder of the DSA Group. And the DSA Group is the Digital Sports Administrator. And she's also on the executive team with Women of Halo. And her name is Biittersweet. That's how you might know her, is Biittersweet, but her real name is Celeste. And she's going to be on the show with us today. And then my second guest is another heavy hitter. Her name, I'm not going to say her name first, actually, but she's another heavy hitter. She is an active United States Air Force member, and she is also the MVP of Air Force Gaming and a two-time HCS free-for-all grand finalist and a top female competitor in the women's space, but not just the women's space, but she also dominates in the HCS competitive space. And you all probably know her as Command Station, and if you are in higher lobbies, you have for sure ran into her, and I can guarantee you that she shit on you. So she is on with me today too, which is also cool. She was actually one of the first like ladies to like in the Halo scene that I kind of like talked to and played around with, which was awesome. And my third, she is going to be a top competitor in the women's competitive space. She also placed top 7 in the last 2 Queen's Alliance tournaments, which were completely random, right? They were draft tournaments. So for her to place that high twice speaks a lot about who she is as a player and what type of player and person she is in game. Obviously a good one, because how do you get to, good placements like that in a draft tournament? You don't know who your teammates are going to be. So you're obviously leading your team in some way. She's a professional cosplayer. She's a very badass cosplayer, might I say. And she is also a canon Halo Spartan, Hazel A302 in the Halo universe. And she is definitely, if you've been to any HCS event, she is definitely someone that you ran into, because she's the one who organizes all the after parties or where everybody goes and hangs out. This is her. So she is definitely in the community, like roots in, all about it. So I'm going to go ahead and bring out all three of our guests, and we are going to meet them and say what's up. So as soon as everyone comes out here, we're going to say hi. He said he's switching. Here we go. Hi, everyone. How are you?
Hello.
Hello.
Hi. Hi.
How's everyone's day? We'll start with Biittersweet. How are you doing today?
I had a mad rush, but I was working the last 2 nights up until 5 o'clock in the morning, so I'm a little all over the place right now. I've just got a couple projects going on, but otherwise, other than being tired, I'm feeling great.
You hear that? She's a business lady. A couple projects means she means business, chat. Command Station, how are you?
I'm doing great. I just got off work and got ready for this. I'm excited to be here.
Are you back like home now?
Not yet. My separation from active duty date will be July 17th. So
Okay. So still out and about doing things. Thank you for everything that you do too. I think sometimes people kind of look at the military in a weird way, or they don't really kind of give it the respect that it deserves. That shit's hard. I couldn't do it. That's why I don't do it. So I appreciate that you do it for people like me who don't have the courage to do it. So just gonna say that too. So like, thank you for your service, and you're a badass. And it's cool to have you on today. Thank you for getting the time to like having time, to kind of stop on. And then we have Miss Savage Giggles. Hello.
Hi.
How are you today?
I'm doing great. Just been chilling with my dogs here in the background all day. Nice relaxing
What are
day.
your dogs' names?
We have Pam over here who's laying on her back. Pam from The Office. I named her after. So I'm a huge Office fan.
Oh, I love that.
And then Luna is right here in the foreground there. And they're sisters. They're biological sisters.
Oh, I love that. That's so sweet. How long have you had them for?
Luna's a little bit older. She's like 7, and then Pam is 5.
Nice. Are you so obviously you're more of a dog person, Command Station. What about you? Are you a cat or a dog person?
so I have a dog. His name is Kiwi.
Kiwi.
Yeah, he's a sweetheart. He's my baby. He's my son.
That's so sweet. What about you, Bittersweet? Do you cat or dog?
I love dogs, and I don't have any animals, sadly, so I don't have
Aw.
anything to nurture that love into. No, I really want one, but where we live currently, it's too small, so unfortunately, I don't have a big enough space. For
So
an
when you go to
animal.
other people's houses, you're like, give me all
Yeah,
the
I don't. Yeah, I don't really pay attention. I don't pay
Nice.
attention to the people. I pay attention to the animals constantly. So
I definitely used to be the person when we would go to like house parties or something. If there was like an animal, I for sure was on the floor.
Oh,
Like loving on the animal, giving the animal attention and stuff
Mhm.
like that. It's always
Yeah.
pretty fun. So we're gonna go into a little bit of like kind of a one-on-one interview, I guess we'll say, or like one-on-one chats for a little bit. So we'll go into some one-on-ones and then I'll bring everybody back. So I'm gonna start first with Bittersweet. So we're gonna say bye to Command Station Savage Giggles for right now, and we will see you both in just a little bit. Bye.
bye.
Everyone's lighting and stuff too. Like everyone just looks so beautiful. I just can't. I literally can't handle it. Okay, so I know I asked you how you are, but after figuring out the mic and everything, how are we feeling?
stressed out. I've got my anxiety
No.
levels probably at like a 110 right now because
No, I
holy
hate
cow, we
I
were
hate
like sitting
that.
there. I was like, why did everything disconnect? And everything just a nightmare. But I'm okay. I'm
No,
I'm
we're gonna
feeling
make-
relaxed now. Yes, we're gonna
you
chit chat.
You
Have
sound
fun.
great and everything too. Yeah,
Thank you.
we're absolutely gonna have fun. But you sound great. It doesn't sound like
Thank
anything
you.
was there. So now we go. GG's go
Perfect.
next. That's what I always say.
Perfect.
So let's talk about. I want to talk about like gaming in general with you. When did you first start playing video games?
Oh goodness. So I grew up with the Sega Dreamcast, which makes me feel like I'm ancient, but really I'm 34. So Sega Dreamcast,
ancient.
N64, Sega Genesis were my first consoles, and the Game Boy Color. So I started probably, from what I can remember, if I can remember from that age, like 6 or 7. And then competitively was a little bit later, but I would say probably that was the earliest time that I got into gaming. Yeah.
Do you remember like what the first video game you played was, or what video game you picked up that kind of made you think like, yo, I want to
Oh.
do this more?
Oh, well, of course it's Halo, right? I don't want to be
Nice.
I don't want to be stereotypical and say Halo, but I probably logged maybe 500 hours onto Pokemon Yellow back in the day.
Oh,
And
nice.
that was like an internalized like competitive side of me where I was like, I need to like be the best Pokemon master. And so I was like, and so I was just sitting in my car and like, and that was the time when things weren't really charged. You had to use batteries, AA batteries. And,
Oh, yes.
yeah, so my parents were always mad at me because they were like, do you need another pair? I'm like, I'm sorry. Like, I need to, I need to go at it again. So probably Pokemon, honestly, was like when I started to really get into like that competitive itch. And then I played against my cousins, and my cousins were all guys, and they were just like, here, play with us. And I said, sure, why not? And then I just kind of started beating them at certain games, and they were like, why are you really good at this? And I don't know what happened. I just got really competitive in my life with everything from up until I was like 7 until now. So yeah.
I think so I just started playing Pokemon again, actually.
Mm.
I have a Nintendo Switch and I bought Let's Go Eevee.
Oh yeah,
And,
the one that came out a few years ago.
Yeah, I've been having a lot of fun with it. I've definitely find myself sinking into the hole, if that makes sense.
Oh yeah. Yep.
Like I find myself like sinking into like the Pokemon hole, but I definitely like it. I'm trying not to sink too far into it. Pokemon cards. Have you ever collected Pokemon cards? Like, did you go down that route too?
Oh yeah, when I was in the 5th grade, 6th grade, during recess and stuff, we would trade Pokemon cards, and it was obsessive. Like it was probably the thing that everyone did for like 2 years. It was that and like marbles and Pogs, but mostly Pokemon cards. And
Oh my gosh, I remember marbles and Pogs too.
you remember
That's
that
so
too?
funny.
Okay, cool. I
I'm
thought
definitely
it
having a blast.
was.
It makes you feel like my first console was a Sega Genesis.
Oh,
So,
nice.
and like and Sega Dreamcast, I used to have it was like a bubble game. I don't remember what it
The
was, but
Bubble
Yeah,
Bobble, or
I would
Bust a
shoot.
Move.
I
Yeah,
think
yeah.
it was Bust a Move. You shoot
Bust
three
a
and then it
Move.
blows up.
Yep.
Yeah, so that was my favorite game. I used to play that all the time. But on
Yeah.
Sega Genesis, I did Jurassic Park. I really, really liked Jurassic Park a lot.
Oh, neat.
That was like my favorite. My brother had a PlayStation though, and he did a lot of like Grand Theft Auto. And I remember I would try to watch him play, but my mom wouldn't let me because like my brother would be taking me to strip clubs inside the game and all this
Yeah.
stuff. So she's like, no, you can't do that. That's funny though. I definitely the Sega Dreamcast, that was like my jam for a while. I really, really, really enjoyed that console. And then they just kind of stopped making it.
Well, you know what happened, right?
I don't. Tell me.
Oh, it's because it was the first console where you could basically copy the discs, so you didn't have to pay for games. And so the whole console, yeah, the console completely crashed. So like it made no money anymore, and you would just buy the system, and then you could just burn like CD-ROMs, CD-ROMs
That's
of the
crazy.
game. And you can
No,
just
I did not
copy
know
it.
that.
Yeah, that's
maybe if I knew that, I would have had a lot more games.
You can, you can keep the console now. You can technically just
I would have had so many more games.
Yeah.
That's crazy. I definitely didn't know that. So that brings me to like kind of my next point is you're very esports. When did you first start dabbling in esports?
So I was competing in Big Team Battle Clans and Halo 2. And I was like 15 at the time. So I was like very, very early on to Big Team Battle and Halo 2. And then I was at a convention up here in Toronto, Canada. And there was a Halo 2 free-for-all tournament that was happening. And I had no idea there was esports tournaments because I'm pretty sure that's when console esports tournaments were kind of like they were trying to see how it would do. So they started doing a lot of like local LANs and local tournaments. And I entered the tournament because my friends pushed me to do it. And then I think I ended up getting second place. And at the time, these are like very much older names, so I don't assume anyone would know them. But this is when I was like competing against like, I don't want to say his name, G-Spot and Bo and like a lot of like Canadian, Kriza and Monez. That's like the Halo 2 kind of group that we had in Canada.
Mm-hmm.
And I got second place in the FFA. And then they encouraged me to basically come out to more LAN tournaments. So I grew up with local LAN tournaments. So I was 15 at the time. So my parents weren't really impressed with me taking a bus by myself 2 hours every day. Well, every other weekend to go up to Toronto to basically compete. And then I kind of like made my name there. And then I started competing in MLG tournaments in 2006. So I'm like all the way back from Halo 2. And I was very heavily competing in Halo 2 and Halo 3 and then Halo Reach. And then I kind of like slowed down there and I focused more on the business side of it. But yeah, that's kind of where I got into competitive gaming and esports. Mm-hmm.
Who's your favorite MLG team?
It was Final Boss.
Let's go. Okay.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. I was a big Strong Side fan and the Ogre Twins. Mostly Strong Side at the time because I thought he was a very unique player. So Final Boss and there was when they were on that run, like for the longest run in Halo 2 was probably, and I was always there physically at the events. So I was in like Chicago, Meadowlands, like all these events.
I wonder, are you in any of they have so many videos. I found out recently, like I went back and I started watching all the old MLG videos and stuff like that. And like I see like Tom
I'm in the
T
background
squared.
in some of them, probably. I'm like,
I was like, you're
this is a
probably
little version of me. Yeah.
That's honestly so cool though. So going from competing to kind of stepping in, like what did you, going from competing to kind of working behind the scenes, what was your first thing that you wanted to do behind the scenes? Like, did you go in with like a plan, like, okay, I'm going to try to do this, or did you know kind of like, I want to do tournaments or I want to cast or whatever, or was it just kind of like, I just want to do stuff?
I definitely knew I never wanted to be in front of camera because I have no ability. I grew up very, very, very shy and I could not public speak. So I knew that I would never do casting or anything like that. Obviously, like I'm a little bit better now, as you can kind of tell, like because I opened up
You're
myself.
doing great.
Thank you. I forced myself to do it. But I didn't know what I wanted to do. Honestly, when I wanted to get into gaming, I wanted to be a computer programmer and work on video games. So I actually went to school for computer science for a couple years. And I took advanced physics, advanced calculus, and advanced computer science. And then I ended up not liking it because of just how much I was so glued to the computer.
Yeah.
And how much I had to really dedicate myself to teaching myself a lot of coding. And I was just coming from a place that was just interested, so I didn't have any back end skills of that. So
Yeah.
I dropped out, and then lo and behold, I think one day I got hired to work behind the scenes in production, and then I just fell in love with it. And then I ended up fitting into many different roles. So I do a lot of like stage management, talent management, and then I'm a floor producer at some events for like different games for like Brawlhalla and stuff. Now I'm a tournament organizer, so I started my own company, and essentially now that's where I find the most happiness in is running tournaments and building them from the ground up. So not necessarily just being thrown in as like a tournament admin. I like building the tournaments from the scratch, and then I like probably following it with the logistics and like the marketing and like all that kind of stuff with it. So
So talk to us about your company. Talk to us about tell us what it is. Tell us how you started and what is the purpose, I guess I would say, or like what do you do?
Yeah, so I haven't been able to really push the company because I accidentally started the company because I was with a previous employer, and one of the most common things within esports, as you're kind of noticing for the drama on Twitter and stuff, is that employers don't pay their staff on time, and that was happening with my previous employer. So what essentially happened was I had a client with that while I was with that employer, and because we weren't getting paid, all of us basically left. And the client was kind of like, "Hey, like, we really want to hire you and work with you, and would you start a company?" Basically. And that's kind of how it ended up happening. So it kind of fell into my lap. So we built a company basically that runs tournament operations and events. So we build what I had mentioned to you, the tournament operations from the beginning, from the ground zero, basically all the way to it being either online or in person. So I do a lot of meeting with the client, finding out what they want. And a lot of the clients I do have are people that are getting into esports. So it's not necessarily people that are just like powerhouses that already have been established. It's powerhouses in the country that are like really big names. Like we're working with like TELUS, which is kind of, I think, equivalent in the US. It's AT&T. Who are really getting into esports, and they're trying to spearhead grassroots esports, and so now we run that for them. So we just run operations regarding that. We do production as well, so we work with like producing broadcast shows for esports for tournaments, and I basically wanted to centralize a place for me to train tournament admins, so they can kind of get into the space, because right now how it was kind of working in the space was tournament admins were being contracted individually just in local areas. So a lot of the unity and like people wanting to work in that same space didn't necessarily have the chemistry or like the experience. They just knew about the game, which kind of happens with a lot of esports, is that just hire someone who's really passionate about the game, which is fine. But there's certain skill sets that you have to do in business that is very focused on multitasking. Oriented with tournament operations and just knowing like the ins and outs. So we focus basically, my business partner and I, Spencer Clark, we started a company together. So we basically grab a bunch of people and we train them to be tournament operations, so admins with different games, and they become specialized in certain games, and then we work with clients and they work on the project. So
so let's say if someone was listening right now and they heard you say like how you kind of train people to be tournament or like admins, is there a way that they can like get in touch with you to like kind of do that, or how does that work? Like what's that look like? Like let's say if I was like, you know what, I want to do this, what do I do?
So because I got slammed, I just started the company like just January 2023, and since then I've been so busy that I haven't actually been able to build a website. But finally there's a website being developed which will then have a tab in itself where you can apply for careers and stuff through my company website.
That's awesome.
So my business partner and I, Spencer, are working on that right now, and that website should probably launch in the next 14 to 30 days, and that's where we'll be able to connect with people that really want to be interested in tournament operations.
That's cool too. And as soon as you get that, if you want to toss it my way, like your website, I'll definitely do what I can do and put it out here so that way if anybody's listening and they feel like, you know, hey, I want to do this or something, it's there. So that way we can, you know, get it all out there, get the name out there and stuff like that. So aside from like with the DSA, you also are an executive team member with Women of Halo. So tell us about what you do with Women of Halo.
Yeah, so I joined the team probably, I want to say just 3 to 4 weeks ago. So I was approached by Veronica and Generic. I honestly, I was trying to think if you were going to ask me this question, I was like, where did the conversation like actually start? I have no idea how it started. It just started, and then I was just there. And so they knew that I worked with my my company and that I have a lot of back end stuff to help build basically the tournament side of it and kind of the vision of how to grow in that aspect of Women of Halo, because I know it is very community based, but we do want to take Women of Halo on a next level where we get associated with bigger clients that really want to push for women in gaming and specifically in Halo. So right now I just joined as the Director of Business Operations and the Chief Strategy Officer. So I do a lot of the strategy behind the company right now, and we've got so much stuff planned, which I'm not going to allude to it now, but just know that probably in this next year there's a lot of crazy things that's going to happen and that is going to change, and I'm excited for us to kind of share that probably in the next couple of months. So
yeah, I'm super excited too to hear about everything and see everything. The Women of Halo community is booming. We are definitely booming, and we are definitely growing, I think too. And I think that it's cool, like for people to like I think it's cool for people to meet people like you who are, you know, on, we'll say, the board, who kind of are like spearheading it and like kind of like, you know, like getting the bug in everybody's ear and kind of making the connections and doing that. Like, I think that's really cool because that makes it easier for people like me when I go to approach people. I'm like, hey, I do stuff with this. And they're like, oh, you know, we've heard about this or something like that. And it makes it easier. So it's really cool. And it's cool to see how far it's kind of come just from when I entered the community, like to now with the Women of Halo. Like, I feel like there's not a single day that I can't get on Twitter and I don't see somebody retweeting a picture of them in the shirts or hashtagging in one way, shape, or form. And I think that's so cool. Like, I just think that that's so cool. And I think that people don't know how big it's going to be. And I think that what I'm hoping for, at least, is I'm hoping that like we can, you know, kind of build something out that's really cool and lead by example and like kind of show other esports like, look, this is what we did and this is how it worked, and like you guys can do it too. And I just think it's really cool that you're spearheading that too. So definitely want to give you your flowers on that. And you're very business savvy, which I really like too. I think not a lot of people, especially when it comes to like business, I feel like you either get it or you don't.
Yeah.
There's not really any way in between, like when it comes to talking to brands, when it comes to kind of negotiating, especially when money's involved, you either get it or you don't. And let me be the first to say, girl, you got it. Like,
thank you.
You
do
got
appreciate
it.
that.
You are absolutely killing it. So I'm going to switch over to just my screen for a moment. I'm going to send you back so you can relax for a little bit. And I'm going to have everybody in chat too, just so you know. Everybody say bye to Celeste and she'll be back. And then she does have her own command in chat. So for everybody who wants to follow her and look into her, we're going to do this. Let me type it in there. So this is going to be her command right here. Here is all of her social medias. Please follow her on there. In the bio of her Twitter page is also going to be the DSA. And there's going to be, I love that Bulbasaur, but there's also going to be the DSA and Women of Halo and all of that too. So you can also see all of those things that we talked about. And then that way you can also, you know, kind of see what is happening with Women of Halo in the future. I just want to give a shout out to Sarah. Sarah also has her own command in chat. Thank you so incredibly much, Sarah, for that gifted sub. And thank you. Is it Odzilla? Thank you for that sub too. I really, really appreciate it. Thank you everybody so much for coming in and hanging out. Your support means the world. I technically lose money when I put on these shows because I hire people to help me do things. So seeing people when you guys show support, you know, and just watching and hanging out and talking and being active in chat means so much to me. So thank you all incredibly much. We are close to a hype train. Let's go. And you know, it goes good with hype trains. Shameless plug of Glitch Energy. You can order Glitch Energy today. You can try it out. You can use my code and you can get a 20% off discount. I am a Glitch Energy partner and my code is Sinner, SINR at checkout, and you can get a discount too. And just like that, the hype train got started. So we'll chalk this one up to Glitch Energy. But now we're gonna kind of go into the second guest of the evening. My second guest is going to be Command Station. So any Command Station fans in the chat, I need you to raise up. We are bringing Miss Command Station on right now. Again, active United States Air Force member. As far as terms of like competing, like you definitely know if you compete competitively in Halo, you know who she is. So there's no way that you don't know who she is. So what is up, Command Station? How are you?
Hello, I'm great. How are you?
I'm good. I'm really excited that you were able to come on, honestly. I think it's really cool. I think it's cool because I think that a lot of people really do look up to you as a competitor, and kind of like you're a woman that's kind of paving the way for a lot of others in the space. And I don't know if you know that all the way or if you believe it, but you should. So I think that it's really cool that you came on today. I want to start it off because obviously you have a lot of titles to your name and stuff like that. So like let's start. Let's name them off here. You were, isn't it 56 times you were in the top or first place?
Yeah, so like online tourneys, like 2v2s, SWAT tourneys, like a lot of these online tourneys, I would honestly just try to play as many as I could for a while, and I'd win a lot of them, whether it was like ladies, there's like some co-eds happening, and then obviously just like regular tournaments, sniper tournaments, stuff like that. Kind of back them up between like Halo 5 and Halo Infinite for the most part.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
So what about as far as HCS goes, and like any HCS tournament, what has been your highest placing with HCS?
I got 28th or 29th with my team with like Ace and Kratos and Rachel.
Nice.
That was on like no practice. We almost beat Complexity, and it was like the best EU team at the time. I think it was like Respectful in them. So we had a really good shot, really good first tourney going into it. Unfortunately how it played out, we definitely wanted that top 24. And then I deployed right after, so definitely kind of resetting, and I'm with a pretty good team right now. I'm really excited to kind of compete this year and see how things go. I'm also going to try to compete in the FFAs if, 4v4s, the placements don't go terribly well, but fingers crossed that they do. I really want to get that top 24 and make pool play, and that's ultimately the goal, so.
What about in regards to tournaments, do you have a tournament that you won that you've placed high in that has like kind of set the bar for you, or is like your most memorable?
Oh, probably my first ever tournament. It was like a clan tournament, and there's a 2v2, and I signed up with another like girlfriend that I knew, and we ended up winning that tournament together. And again, we were like the only two girls that signed up. We're just gonna do it for fun or whatever. And yeah, we won that. That was pretty memorable for me. I guess even more memorable was the fact that we didn't get our prize because they thought that we were like dudes being trolls or something.
What?
So, yeah.
So has there been times, have you played in any online tournaments or anything where they've like cam checked you to see, like in like a women's tournament or anything, where they've been like cam check, like want to make sure that like this is who you say it is or anything, just because your gameplay is so fire?
I'd say yeah, when I first started playing in ladies tournaments in like Halo Infinite, definitely was rocking the boat a little bit, and people wanted to cam check me. I think, I mean, it happened to Rachel, it happens to any like really good girl that comes in,
Yeah.
and, shines. So I take it as a compliment, as flattery, to be honest. Like, you have to verify that I'm me because I'm that good. So yeah.
And then talk to us about ForceCon. So
Ooh.
people probably don't like people who aren't familiar with the military. ForceCon is essentially like the esports tournament. Like, can we say it's like HCS Worlds but for the armed forces? Like, would that be comparable maybe? Or
Yeah.
like a major or something like that. I've never been to it, so
Yeah, I guess you could say it's like a worlds for the military, but
do they do more
essentially-
titles?
Yeah, they do one every year. I'm pretty sure for different titles, different games,
Okay.
whatever they can pull off. But yeah, so essentially we had to play in a qualifier. I think there was like 10 or 12 Air Force teams we had to beat out, and then they sent us to Florida to play against, I guess, the best Air Force teams and get our like A team, B team seeding, and obviously we were the A team. And then the Space Force was there too during the same thing. And then we got to Texas to go compete against all the branches. All the A teams were competing against each other, and yeah, then we won it. So
And is that the same tournament that you got MVP at?
yeah.
Okay.
I was very surprised. They pulled me to the front of the stage. I thought it was like an interview or something, and then they're like, "Command Station MVP," and I'm like, "Holy crap!" what
How
just
did
happened?
that feel though when they said, like, how did you feel?
I was like, there's no words. I was confused and happy, but also confused. I was like, okay. I know I was popping off, but I was like, I didn't know I was popping off that much to get MVP. So I was very excited for that, and it felt really good to win that award.
Is MVP, was that the belt?
Yeah, it was like a WWE belt. Xavier
That's
Woods,
sick.
who's like a wrestler or whatever. He signed it, and he's a really awesome dude. I love him. I think he goes by, what's his name in the WWE? Is it Xavier Woods or is it Austin
I have no
Creed?
idea, girl.
Yeah.
I have no idea. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah, I wish I was more of a WWE fan, but and he was awesome, and yeah, it was a really good time.
So, have you done any more like force cons or anything since that one, or have you been competing with like does the Air Force, like, is it like a team? Like, you said there's an A team and a B team, so does that mean that you like compete all throughout the year together, or how does it, like, can you explain that process for me? Explain it for me. I don't understand.
Yeah, so around the time that there's an event, I think there's a lot more games being played for sure. I know there's another event that we went to. It was held at the Complexity Complex.
Oh, I remember seeing that actually. I watched that broadcast because Complexity had actually, I DM'd them about you. I wanted to cheer you on and I couldn't because they had followers only or something. So I couldn't type in the chat. And I was like, bro, I'm literally like trying to cheer this girl on right now. But I remember watching that.
Yeah,
Nice.
it was a good time. We definitely didn't practice for it. I know the Army had been practicing like as a team for several years, and I think the Navy team was practicing as a team for a long time as well. And us Air Force guys were kind of, going for fun, and we didn't get the placement that I guess we thought we were gonna get, but the other teams obviously put in a lot more time. They're a lot more coordinated, and but I mean overall the event was very fun. So
That's
the
cool.
second
That's
one, yeah.
that's super cool. So how long have you been in the military for?
4 years and 2 months.
And then you said you're going to be done in July.
Yes, so I am in the Palace Chase program. Essentially, it takes you from your active duty contract a bit early and puts you in the Guard. So I'll have a year and a half left of active duty, technically a little bit more. So they double that time into the Guard. So I'll have about 3 years extended into the Guard. And
Okay.
essentially, I'll go from full-time military type deal to checking in on weekends. It's like 1 weekend a month or every other month or something like that in the Guard.
Okay.
I'll have a lot more time back for me. So
Are you
it'll be
excited?
nice. Oh yeah, I'm very excited.
Can you, just for anybody that's listening who like doesn't know, can you explain the difference between being like in the Guard and like being because I mean you're still in the Air Force.
Yeah, so active duty is a full-time gig. You're going in like it's a full-time job. You're either working like 7 to 8 hour shifts or 12-hour shifts, sometimes more. It just depends on your MOS or your job. With Guard and Reserve, you're essentially, if they need bodies, let's say at the border or overseas in the Middle East, they can ask you, hey, can you go to this? We need more people. We don't want to take a lot of our active duty guys, so we're gonna, send more guard reserves here. That's kind of how that works out. So, and it's more like of a voluntary thing in the guard for the most part, but sometimes they will need you for bigger things if there's like a natural disaster or,
Yeah.
Something like that.
Okay. So, my next question was going to be when you started playing video games, what was like the first, have you always been like a shooter type of like player, or did you start on something else and then kind of go into shooters?
Yeah, I mean, when I was like 4 or 5, I was, watching my big brother play video games like Halo and Ghost Recon, like the first Ghost Recon. And I never really swayed too much from shooters since then, so.
Okay. What about, and then have you competed in any other titles aside from Halo?
Competing a little bit in like Call of Duty, like kind of for fun on the side. Just getting into it. I wanted to kind of get a feel of how different games were, and the Call of Duty community was very welcoming, especially the girls I was playing with. The girls team that I had in Call of Duty, it was like Gore, Illusion, Kai, and it was myself, and then we had like interchangeable subs. So I really, really enjoyed playing with them. They're just awesome girls. And yeah, I don't know. It's just pure dopamine playing with them and playing in COD. So I've been having fun in that.
Are you competed in Arlington, didn't you?
This last event, yeah.
And what was it? That was Cold Ones?
Oh yeah. So initially I was just going for the FFA, like to compete. But I wanted to see if we can get like a girls team out there, like for fun, and I ended up getting with Blood Reina. Goated, I love her.
Goated, absolutely goated.
I love her.
She's incredible. I believe she's going to that Orlando land, that Titans land too.
Oh yeah.
Whatever, I saw her and Kiddo, they're teaming up, so I was like, whoo, you should go.
Initially we were working a team with Kiddo, but she couldn't play for some reason. I can't remember.
Oh no.
Why.
Yeah.
And then so and our other two teammates were Sundays, which I love her, and Ultras.
Oh, I love that. Ultras is such a vibe. I've played Ace with her before, and she was so fun. I liked playing with Ultras a lot. That's cool though that you all went down there and you competed. How did it go? How was the vibes? How are you feeling?
The vibes were good. And I know we got double first rounded at the event, but
I always get first rounded. It's okay.
We just went for fun as a team. I mean, it was more so just like getting the girls together and like having a little group to hang out with. So yeah, I enjoyed hanging out with them. And then the FFA went pretty okay. I wanted to get grand finals, but some hiccups happened and just unfortunate circumstances. But I definitely will go for grand finals every time, like I usually do. But yeah, it was annoying, for sure.
Are you gonna do any more tournaments? Are you gonna do that LVT 2v2?
The ladies?
Yeah, it's on Saturday.
Yes, I believe so. Depending on circumstances, I'll either be playing with Miss Lakar or Pink Sakura. Nice.
Also incredible players on both sides too. I was supposed to the first tournament that I did, that draft tournament, before I got called to cast it, I got put on Pink's team, and we had like a group message, and I just remember messaging her and I was like, listen, you are literally about to give me the biggest uppies in my entire life. Like, I was like, listen, like there's absolutely no way, like you just tell me what I need to do and I'll do it. And she was like, I don't really speak English that much, and she's like, I don't really call out, but just follow me or something like that. I was like, what? And I was so scared. I was so scared, but she's someone too that I watch in matchmaking, and she is
she's disgusting. She's so good. Her English has gotten so much better over the years too. I've known her for probably like 3 or 4 years, and
too with Halo, right? I feel like it doesn't really like I don't know if this, I don't know how, I just feel like if I'm playing with someone who doesn't speak English, right? But like, let's say if we're all playing the same game, like let's say you're French. We're just gonna say you're French. And let's say we're at Trippy's box. And if I'm calling it Trippy's box, it's not like you're gonna look at me and be like baguette or something else. Like, you know, like you would know that I'm saying Trippy's box. So I feel like it's kind of like there might be like a little bit of a language barrier when you play with people who have different, you know, like you guys speak different languages, but at the same time, I feel like there might not be just because we're all playing the same game. So I feel like you kind of get accustomed to, you know, what the call outs are and stuff like that. So I just think she's badass. I cannot handle her. She's so good.
Oh yeah, she's amazing.
So, what about like any 4v4s coming up? Like, do you have any plans to do 4v4s, or are you just kind of going to relax a little bit until the whole military deal calms down?
I do plan on doing 4v4s. I actually have a pretty goated team right now, so
Are you allowed to tell us who they are?
Not yet. We haven't played
okay.
yet, so
We can't
it's
tell,
our
we can't
first
know yet.
event, online event this weekend. So we'll
Oh,
see how it
nice.
goes.
Is it the Cloud9 event?
Mm-hmm.
Exciting. So you guys can look for her this weekend then in that Cloud9 event that we were talking about, the 5K Cloud9 event. That'll be really cool. I'll definitely be rooting for you. That's awesome that you're still, you know, doing tournaments and stuff like that too. What about like, do you have a favorite game out of the games that you play? And it
Like
doesn't have to be a
Halo,
shooter
or-
or anything. Just, yeah, any game. Like, what's your favorite video game?
Ooh, I'd say Halo 5. I mean, yeah, that's
Another
yeah.
Halo 5, baby.
Yeah.
Every time, like
Okay.
Sparty too. Sparty said the same thing. I still haven't played Halo 5 yet, but I did I do the campaign? I don't, oh no, I didn't do the campaign yet. I didn't do either of it yet, but everyone says that I'll like Halo 5 because of the movement. They say that that I think I can't even move as is, so I don't know what you're talking about, but I'm trying. So again, what about you? You like books. You're a big reader and you like to read books. Do you have a favorite book or a favorite series that you've read lately?
I'd say that the big book that stood out to me was Limitless by Jim Quick. That was a kind of like an upgrade over Clock Your Brain type book, and it really made me fall in love with reading.
Nice.
And then I like just like little here and there books like The Alchemist by Paulo Coelho. It's just a journey of life perspective. It's a really refreshing book to read. I really liked it. Right now
Nice.
I'm reading Dune all the way through.
You said Dune?
Yeah.
Nice. I'm mad at
Yeah.
George Lucas because George Lucas took things from Dune, and that's what Star Wars is like based off of a lot of things on Dune, like a lot of the architecture and like even like the vehicles and stuff like that. So I went to watch Dune, and all I see is Star Wars. So I can't like Dune for Dune because I just see Star Wars because I started Star Wars first. So I want to try to read the books.
Yeah. They're the books are, oh my gosh, they're very good. Like I mean, the movies are good. The books are really good. So
Are you a physical reader, or do you just kind of you know how some people do like audio book or whatever and all that stuff?
I do both. I read several books at a time.
Okay.
So some books I'll do like audibly, and some books I'll read like actually physically. So
I love that. Not a lot of people still read. I feel like some people do, but I feel like a lot of people don't. Like, I don't know. I like books. I like physical books, I guess. So like I like physical, you know, physical media. So not a lot of people do still read. So it's always cool when you like come across someone who like still is like, yeah, I read books. Just because too, I feel like in video games, like you don't really, we're all on monitors all day long, you know, and like doing technology and stuff. I think that reading is a really good way to kind of just relax and chill for a little bit. So now I am going to I'm actually going to go back to just me for a little bit. So we're going to say bye to Miss Command Station, and we are going to just kind of chit chat for a brief second before we pull up our next guest. One thing that I do want to bring up again is that this show today is sponsored by AverMedia, and AverMedia is a company that is in Taiwan, and they just had that earthquake. So the AverMedia headquarters did get jolted and kind of messed around a little bit. So I just want to kind of send my regards and like my well wishes to the AverMedia family. I want them to know that, like, you know, we're thinking about them and sending them love and stuff like that. I can't imagine. I live in a place where I live in Michigan, right? So I don't really have to deal with earthquakes. At least I don't think I've ever felt an earthquake before, you know, living here. So we don't really have to deal with those kind of things. So I don't know how I would even, you know, be able to act in that situation. So I just want to make an effort to say that, like, Ladies Night is put on and possible by Avermedia, and Avermedia right now is going through it. You know, they're going through it. So I just want to make sure that part of the show today, we're kind of sending our love and our well wishes to them, and making sure that they are all, you know, okay and safe. A building is replaceable, but they are not. So just want to make sure they're all safe. Another thing that we're going to talk about is Clutch One. I'm a partner with Clutch 2. Clutch 1 is great, and you can also get Clutch. Clutch is the gamer hygiene brand. Let me look really quick. I always have it written by me, so that's how you know that I genuinely use this. This is their Clutch deodorant. It is really, really great. It's actually cruelty-free and vegan, and it smells so insanely good. I put this on and I smell like apples. It's called Fuji Paradise. This is like my favorite deodorant I've ever owned, and I'm not just saying that because I'm partnered by them. I genuinely feel like I smell so fresh when I wear it. So they have that, and they have grip cream right now. They're going to come out with more things soon. More products soon that you can do. The grip cream is really good for when you play games. Thank you so much, John and the professor, for the subs. I really, really appreciate it. Gifted a sub to Command Station. How cool. Who's going to gift one to Command Station's mom? She's in here. We need Command Station's mom to have a chat, or to have a sub. We can't have Mama Bear out here watching her daughter with ads. Come on, chat. Halo community, rise up. So I am going to bring out my third guest now. Thank you, Sarah, coming in clutch. We love that. I am going to bring out my third guest now. My third guest is Miss Savage Giggles. Her name is Jordan. If you go to any HCS event, you've definitely seen her there. You've probably been to one of her after parties. You've probably heard about an after party that she's created or brought together. So everybody say hi to Miss Giggles. Hello, how are you?
Hi, good. How are you?
I'm good. Going back to your background, we were talking about this earlier, but I'm just pointing it out again because I think it's so funny. I love the Office poster, and I just noticed this is the two dogs. Is that Pam and Luna?
Yes. Oh yeah, my little poster of them. Yeah.
That's so cute.
They're my world. They're my whole world.
I love that so much. So let's get like right into it. Cosplay. Yeah. You like to cosplay. I love your cosplays. I should have I'm gonna try to get links and stuff like that so we can show it. But what's your favorite cosplay that you've ever done?
Oh, that's a tough question. I think my favorite one that I've done so far is probably the Avatar Kyoshi one that I just did. I'm a big Avatar The Last Airbender fan.
Nice.
And in the lore, I have a proclivity for tall people cosplays because I am very tall. So in the lore, Avatar Kyoshi is canonically one of the tallest Avatar. So when I saw that, and I'm just a huge fan. A few of my other buddies were cosplaying Avatar The Last Airbender, and yeah, I whipped together a Kyoshi, and I just love it. I love the character so much, and she's tall, and like the looks that I got wearing it was just like, I don't know. It was
sometimes I feel okay. So I definitely feel you on that, because sometimes when I'm in a cosplay and like when some people see it, it's like when they see it and they realize what I am, and like you see it click and they're like, oh my God, like, that's so cool. It is like the biggest euphoria where you're like, yes, like I did it. I love that. Avatar, when you said Avatar The Last Airbender, doesn't Dave Filoni do something with that?
Dave Filoni? Maybe?
Dave Filoni is with Star Wars. I'm not sure if for some reason, I feel like he does Avatar The Last Airbender, but I don't know if it was the live action thing that they're doing, or if it was, because there's like a cartoon, right? Like an animated series. He does animated stuff. Like, I feel like he would probably be an animated guy.
Okay, yeah. No, he did some of the animated. Yeah, for the original.
Yes.
Yes. Okay, he directed 8 episodes of it. Oh, it's cool. I didn't know that.
Okay, so Dave Filoni is fabulous, so that just means I need to watch it more. Only because, and the only reason why I brought it, you're the second person to bring up Avatar to me in the last probably like
You
2
haven't
weeks.
watched it?
I haven't
Oh
yet,
my
and I
gosh.
think that I should, but I'm scared because I'm one of those people where if I start a new lore or like a new like little hobby, like I am in it. I don't stop.
Oh,
I'm
same.
in it. It gets
Fully
crazy.
obsessed. Yep.
Fully obsessed. So
Binged.
maybe I will
Yeah.
be fully obsessed.
Do it. I
Shake
mean,
and
now's the
shake and
time.
your
There's
hair
there's
is
so
slayed.
much. There's so much going on with it right now. You know, with the Netflix show coming out and everything. Like, Avatar's just the thing.
That's I'm really excited to see that. Also, shout out to Operant Power for the raid. Thank you so incredibly much. I hope that you had a good stream. So what about with what made you want to start cosplaying?
Honestly, like I started going to events back in like 2010, and I got my first taste of that community, and I had so much respect for people who did it. Like I was so wowed by some of the costumes. And actually shortly after that, I was hired to do cosplay like professionally by 343/Bungie at the time for Reach.
Love that.
So I got my first taste in cosplay actually like on the professional side, which is crazy. I got to wear costumes and have that, you know, see the reactions of people and things like that. And like, it just, the whole community is amazing. And, you know, it was love at first sight, essentially.
What when you do your cosplay, your armors,
Mhm.
are you doing, is it like foam or what do you do? 3D print? Like what's your process?
I mean, every cosplay is going to be different. And I will say the armors that I've worn the Cat's armor from Halo Reach and then Hazel's. I did not actually make those. A lot of
Those
people
look so cool.
Yeah, a lot of people you know, assume that I made them just because I wear them, but 343 paid to have those created, and Bungie at the time, they had those created from like professional studios.
That's
and then
crazy.
I got to wear them because I'm so tall. I'm like a Spartan in real life kind of thing. So yeah, I got to wear those. The original, or the cat one, was more of like a foam rubber kind of thing. I forget the material. And then Hazel's was completely 3D printed. Like it just all like PVC pipe type material, like real like thin plastic.
Was that one heavier?
No, the foam one was way heavier.
Really?
But it was so much more flexible. Like I could actually like move around in it when it was foam, but like the 3D printed one, there's like no flexibility. Like you're just like, you know, clanking around, like not as easy to move in, but definitely a lot lighter.
Yeah, that's. Do you get hot when you wear them? I feel like
Yeah.
it'd be hard to breathe.
Yeah, the cat one was definitely a lot warmer, but Hazel's wasn't too bad. The 3D printed one, because it was a lot lighter, it was a lot easier to wear. It also depended on the building that I was wearing. I got to wear it a bunch of times at a bunch of different event centers, and it just depended on the air conditioning in the building.
That's so
Mostly.
cool, though. Oh, that's
Yeah,
absolutely incredible. I
was
love
fun.
that so much. So when you do the whole Spartan cosplay and stuff like that, how long do you typically stay in the suit?
Sure. So it depends. For Hazel, we had like because we were on like 343's like schedule
and
kind of
stuff,
thing. Yeah. So we had stints of like being out on the floor in our photo op area for like an hour, and then we'd have, you know, go take a break for like a half
Okay.
hour or something, or we'd walk around. We did photo ops with Jen and Steve, the voice actors for
so
Master
cool.
Chief and Cortana. Yeah, it was, oh my gosh, dream come true.
When
It
you
was
were,
so
when you were
fun.
dressed up as a Spartan. too.
Yeah.
That's
What,
so
as
cool.
far we were like security. I'm like holding my weapons. I'm like behind my helmet. I'm like freaking out. I'm like, oh my gosh, this is amazing. Like fangirling. But you know, we gotta look serious. So we're like, you know, yeah, you know.
What about when you go to talk in those? Is there like a microphone for your voice or anything, or do you just have to like scream?
We did have voice amplifier mics for our cosplays. They weren't always working, so sometimes we had to like kind of like yell at people. But I was also able to take off my helmet if I wanted to. So
Nice.
That was
What about what's the longest time that you've been in a helmet for?
The longest, oh my gosh, that was actually in Cat's armor when I first wore the armor back in 2011 or whatever it was, 2010. And there was a Bungie was having a panel at PAX, and they wanted me to stand behind them in armor.
Oh,
and
nice.
and this was after I was already out on the floor a bunch, like, and this was the heavy armor, like this, I was sweating, like just dripping sweat, and as I was standing behind them, this panel was like, I don't know, an hour or so, and my helmet actually, there's fans in the helmet, the fan actually broke, and I remember thinking, like, I was just trying so hard to breathe out of the bottom of the helmet, like, yeah, no, I was like, I can't pass out. This is Bungie, like this, I can't like imagine. So I just stood there, like, okay, just breathe, and it was like the longest hour of my life, just sitting there sweating, like not being able to breathe, but I made it through.
So, aside from just cosplaying too, you also compete and stuff like that. How long have you been competing for?
So I started doing like game battle stuff more like late 2000s, like early 2010s.
Okay.
But it wasn't until early 2010s that I actually started going to events like MLG and what were the other ones? AGL? I forget. Yeah. So early 2010s-ish.
Okay. What about like, do you have an event that's been your most memorable event?
Actually, I would say Halo Infinite, the opener at Raleigh. I think that's been my most like memorable event. I just met so many people, like the vibes. Everybody was just there, and it was so exciting, and like it was just amazing.
That's awesome. Thank you so much. Is it Waldo Claus? Thank you for the prime. I appreciate it. What about like when it comes to tournaments and things like that, do you have a tournament that you've competed in that has stood out to you the most?
That I've competed in that stood out the most. I did back in 2011 or 12. I was at an MLG event, and we were a sponsored ladies team at the time, with NOS energy drinks.
Oh, nice.
And our other team that we had, it was our team. We were like the ladies team, and then like the male team was actually Ninja's team.
Wow.
And so we got to, before the event even started, we got to kind of have like a little LAN with them, and it was Ninja, Lethal was there, a bunch of like pros were there, and they were all like watching us play and like giving us, tips and advice and like, running with us. And I remember, I think it was Lethal was like watching my screen. He was like, dang, you got a good shot. And I was like, forever I have that compliment.
I love that so much. Do you have what was your favorite like MLG team?
Favorite MLG team.
If you have one, if you don't, that's fine.
I'll go with I'll not take the low-hanging fruit of the well-known ones. I'm gonna say the Warriors, because that was the event that we did with the guys team. Ninja was on the Warriors that event, and they took that event, and it was super hype. So I'm gonna give it to them.
That's cool though. I think that's cool. So have you ever like when you guys both represented the same, like when we say org or team, did you ever like talk to Ninja or anything like that, or like?
Oh
hey,
yeah, we were buddies. Yeah, we were like
that.
texting each other all weekend, and then like we had like a little get together after the event was over. You know how we do the little after
I love that.
party.
That's so cool though. What about, have you only competed in Halo Infinite, or have you done other video game titles?
I've done online tournaments for, I used to do Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2 2009, the OG, my favorite Call of Duty. I used to do game battles for that, and then I just do like random online tournaments, and then also Gears of War. I've done a
Gears of
couple.
War.
Yes, I love Gears of War, Call of Duty, and Halo were always like my three like just trifecta shooter games. Like I loved those, especially in early 2010s. Like it was just peak like shooters. You know what I mean? Like online shooter, competitive gaming sphere. Like it was perfect.
I love
So,
that.
yeah,
Was that a cat who just jumped down? Who's that?
Yes, I also have a cat. I don't know where he went, but that's my cat Gandalf the White.
Gandalf.
Yes.
I love that. Such fun animal names. I love it. I'm here for that. That's incredible. So, are you? Oh, I already asked if you're more of a cat or dog person, didn't I? So I can't ask you that one again. What about you? Because you play on PC now, or are you on Xbox?
So I tried back when Halo Reach came out on PC. I tried to switch over to keyboard and mouse because I was like, like in a practical way, keyboard and mouse is like more advantageous to use. So I was like, I really want to get used to it, and I want to be like as good as all the Counter-Strike shooters that that I see, all the pros and stuff. I'm like, I gotta be as good as them. And honestly, I tried for like a good month, keyboard and mouse, and I could not get used to it. So now I controller. I do play some PC games where I can use my keyboard and mouse, but like fast shooters, I just can't. I don't know how people can do it.
Do you remember what the first video game was that you ever played?
Ooh, first video game. So I was really lucky when I was little. My mom and my uncle were both into video games, so they had like Atari and like the original Nintendo. That. Yeah, so I got to play a lot of those real old ones. So I couldn't tell you exactly like the very first one, but like probably the first ones that I remember playing were like Sesame Street on Nintendo on NES. Like there was like a Sesame Street game, and then Sega Genesis and all those other Sonic titles.
What a time to be alive! I'm telling you.
Yes.
Sega Genesis was so sick. I went to we have like resale stores, and I went to a resale store the other day and I saw Sega Genesis and they were selling it for like $30, and I was like,
hey.
Wow. And I was like, I kind of want to buy this, but then I thought about it and I was like, oh my gosh, I don't even think that I have the correct cords that would even fit in a TV right now for it. I was like, I don't even like, because remember they used to be the three. It was like a red one, a blue one, a yellow wire, and you had to like put them all in correctly and all that. Oh, man.
Yeah, monitors don't even have those nowadays. It's like all HDMI.
It is. How would I even play? You know what I mean? So I had to think about it. I was like, I would love to play this game right now, but I was like, wait, I don't even think that I can play it.
Yeah, pretty much I have to use emulators at this point if you want to play this old game.
Do something. So I have another question that I was going to ask. When it comes to, because you were at Worlds, did you compete at Worlds?
Yes, in the FFA and in the Halo 2 and the Halo 3 4v4.
What one was your favorite?
So the Halo 2 and the Halo 3 4v4 both went the exact same, and that was we went against Neighbor's team. And so
did my boyfriend, actually.
Yeah, totally demolished. Like we stood no chance. It's not fair.
Womp played with Pure Delight, Zeus, who he's a mod in LVT, and then someone named Kinsey.
Okay.
And they played together, and they played they played the army the first time, and they took the army out, and then they played Neighbor's team. And I didn't know what was going on. Okay, I did not know what was going on. I just knew that everybody was watching this game that was going on, and I had no idea why all these people were like watching like this specific match. You know what I mean? Like, not a single idea. Like, what's going on? And then finally, after Zeus and Womp told me, and I was like, oh, that explains. There was like a lot of people over there watching, and I didn't know why. And I was like, why are you guys watching him?
Yeah, Optic came over, and like, he's giving a little hug to like APG and stuff. I was like, yeah, this is not gonna go well for us. Like, don't watch, please, Optic. Please keep moving.
Yeah, I definitely was a little chaotic at first. I just realized Twitch had what's crazy. I got a little sidetracked there for a second. For the Twitch drops, it says it's my logo. It's my name. Like it says my name on there on Twitch. I've never seen that before, so I don't know if that was why they asked me for a logo or whatever, but that's crazy, and that just definitely threw me off for a second. I was like, excuse me? That's fun though. Awesome, great, sweet. Thank you, HCS. We appreciate it. Tons of fun things coming around. I remember playing against you in H2 Savage Giggles. No one remembers my team though. Was Metro Gaming. That's what someone in chat said. Honestly, a lot of you in chat have probably played against multiple of these, like, you know, Command Station 2, like probably even Celeste, especially if you all have been around since the MLG days. So what I'm gonna do now is I'm going to bring all three of us out. Well, it's gonna be all four of us. So thanks for doing like a one-on-one. That's so cool. Your
Yeah.
animals are so cute. I love Gandalf so much. So yeah, we're gonna go to everyone now, and we're just gonna kind of have a little groupy discussion, I guess, about kind of what it feels like to be a woman in the gaming space and kind of like how to navigate it, I guess. So I'm gonna start with Biittersweet. The question that I have for you is because you do a lot of back end stuff, so I think it's important to just kind of showcase, I guess, both sides. Do you, when you do back end stuff, like when you first joined or started doing back end work and like production work in regards of like tournaments and all of this stuff, did you ever had anybody kind of give you like a like shit, I guess, just kind of give you a hard time just because it was like you were a woman who was just kind of trying to make her way, I guess?
No, not for me particularly. I think the reason why is because I started at a young age, so everyone kind of already knew of me in the Halo scene. I know it's like trying to like track back into like the old days, but
Yeah.
I was kind of like within in Canada at least, there was no female Halo competitors, so I ended up kind of being the first female competitor and kind of being in the spotlight for a very long time alongside with I think at the time it was when Halo 2 it was Xena, Smiley, I was in there. I think the PMS was in there as well, and who else am I missing? Golden Girl, and it was all of us that kind of like paved the way. So I mean, I've been in the scene since I was a kid. I feels like I was like a little
up.
kid. Yeah, so I grew up. So
there, essentially.
yeah, so in production, everyone kind of already had the idea that I knew. I came in from a competitive side, so when I was going into esports, sure, I'm sure in production, if anything else in like film and TV, they'd be like, what is this girl doing here? But I think within esports, because I started off as a competitor and I was competing in probably like 30 plus events at that time before I jumped into production, and I was doing very well and that kind of stuff. So that's kind of like not a barrier for me in production. When I first went into the competitive scene, is a very different experience than a lot of girls that are getting into the scene now, I think. Just because it was such an unfamiliar territory back in like 2005, 2007, when girls were getting into it. It was almost like a double-edged sword that men didn't know how to take it, but at the same time they were very accepting of it. So they they were very empowering at that time in a very still kind of territorial way, because everyone's trying to make their name and stuff. So it was kind of very confusing at the beginning to navigate, for sure. Now obviously in the state of current within gaming right now, I think both in production and in competitive space, a lot of people are more accepting of, and you see a ton more females actually getting into gaming. So I think that has exceeded probably in the past 15 years. So yeah.
Something too, this just reminded me, and I forgot to bring it up earlier. Can you tell everybody about Kingdom Nerds really quick? Can you tell everybody about that? And wasn't it Conan O'Brien or something?
Yeah, everyone always describes this about me. I live a very weird life because I got into video games, but I also was very tomboyish. So I competed in a lot of like sports. My mom pretty much instilled me and forced me into sports when I was a kid. So they kind of put me in different things. So they're like, let's put her into golf, let's put her into tennis, let's put her into baseball, and then see what she excels at. And so then I just was driven by a competitive spirit. And so at that point, I was competing and I was pretty much within that spotlight for a very long time. And then I got a secondary skill, which I could solve Rubik's Cubes in like 25 seconds. So then this TV show approached me and said, we're casting for this kind of nerd show, and I didn't know what it was. I thought it was like, oh, I'm going to be on a show with a bunch of gamers. No, I ended up auditioning for the show. I got on. I was sent down to the States, and then I went on. And I had no idea what it is, what the name was, who was on it, what the concept of the show was. All I knew is that as I was competing against people like me, is what they said. So
people like me.
Yeah, people like me. So they blindfold you. You go through hotel jail, all these weird things, and they throw you into like the pit of being in front of the camera, and then you're like figuring out why you're on the show. And then I was on the show. So basically, King of the Nerds was a show in 2013 where I had to live with 10 other people, 10 different, but it ended up not being gamers. They were different nerds. So there was like scientists, people from NASA, comic book nerds, and then I was the gamer girl who can solve Rubik's Cube. And I was the only Canadian on the show, and I grew up watching reality TV shows, and then I ended up winning the show. So I won the grand prize, which we didn't even know what we were competing for, but the prize was $100,000. So I won the first place prize, and then it skyrocketed me into Conan O'Brien for a bit there, and then I kind of, I guess, blew up in that sense, which relates to your other question of like, did anyone like kind of give me backlash when I first entered production? Is like, not really, because I was from a reality TV show too, so they're like, oh, she probably knows a lot too. So I was like, yeah.
So it was kind of like I know what I'm doing, basically.
Yeah, it just kind of walked in. I was like, hey guys, they're like, oh, it's Celeste, she won that show, and I was like, oh, I guess. Yeah, like over 10 years ago. I don't remember much of it other than I won it, but yeah.
That's awesome though. And then Command Station, what about for you when you first started entering the competitive scene? What were some of like, did you get people kind of being mean to you, or kind of just like, she's a girl, like I don't want a girl on my team, she's not good, or oh, we're gonna lose, she's a girl, or anything like that? Like, did anybody just kind of treat you differently just because you were a girl when you first started competing?
I mean, like, it happens. It's not really like a huge concern of mine, because I can just tune it out. But obviously, it's a concern in general. Obviously, we don't want that to happen to like other women, little girls growing up. They, we want them to have a good community to come up in. But obviously, there's gonna be trash talk. Obviously, there's gonna be low blows. Like, people are gonna just kind of grasp at straws when they're getting stained by a female. And just say
I love that, getting stained.
Yeah, so,
teaching me. I'm just a baby. She's teaching me gamer lingo. I can't wait to yell at someone. You just got stained.
Yeah, so I mean, you're gonna hear all the different spectrum of insults and stuff, because I mean, people don't like to lose. But it is what it is. Like, I don't know. It's such a drastic ratio.
What about at like LAN events?
LAN events, everyone's cordial. Everyone's very nice. Everyone, obviously there's no screen to hide behind, so everyone's very nice all the time.
I definitely think too, at LAN events, people are a lot nicer at LAN events than what they are online. That is something, very, very nice online. What about you, Miss Giggles? When you kind of first started entering the scene and kind of experimenting with gaming or like competing and all of that, did you deal with anybody kind of just giving you shit because you were a girl?
At first, yes, back in the day, but only online. Honestly, only online. In person, I think it was always a very different story, because, I mean, dudes want women around. You know what I mean? Like, when you walk in as a sausage party, it's like, nobody what, you're gonna try to scare all the women away? No, like, you want them there.
Sausage fest.
Exactly. Yeah. So online, obviously, it's the trash talking. It's whatever. They'll use anything they can get against you, but when it actually came down to it, everybody was so helpful. Everybody was so supportive. And, I never really experienced true, like, like straight up sexism, other than just trash talking.
Okay, that's cool. That's good though, honestly. And what's kind of cool and kind of refreshing to hear is that every time that I've asked all of the guests this, mostly what they say is their answers are all kind of the same. I experience it online, but I don't in person. But in online, when I do experience it, it's either very light or it's like god awful, and there's not really like anything in between. That's something that I've noticed, at least in lobbies, is like the person that's gonna talk crap to me in a lobby is probably gonna talk like horrendous things that they should never fucking say in a lobby or whatever. But in person, like, nobody
Yeah.
I'll bark at you in person too. I don't know what else to say. Like, no one, you know,
Yeah.
like I don't know what else to say. What about like have any of you do any of you have like a male in the scene right now that's in the Halo scene that's either stuck up for you or has been like a really like someone, let's say like when you play with them or something, like you know that that person has your back?
I mean,
So,
yeah,
I
I can go
mean-
first. Yeah, I mean,
Yeah,
yeah.
go ahead.
So, I have a lot of guy friends that I play with. Obviously, it's kind of hard to avoid it because guys play video games. But
Mhm.
and I guess the mentory side of things, Pistola has definitely been very good at advice giving for me. And then
long live
Suspector.
Ola.
I love Ola. Suspector. And then obviously I was friends with Bound for a very long time, so those people have kind of given me some really good advice over the years. So
That's awesome. What about you, Giggles? Do you have like a guy or anybody that like anyone you want to shout out that like has been, you know?
Yeah. Two people stand out. I mean, so many, but two in particular. My duo that I pretty much competed everything with, Revan. He always stands up for me. You know, people have. There's been a couple shady people around. He's always, you know, stood up for me, even when I
That's
wasn't
awesome.
around. And yeah, he's always down to play with me. And it's always nice that you can always have that that person that will always be there for you. And then also shout out to Shades and Fades, always
Shades and
out here
Fades.
hyping me up. He's such a hype man, y'all. If you
Such
don't
a
know
hype
Shades,
man.
yeah, he is awesome. He's always there hyping me up, and yeah, just appreciate him so much in the scene. I'm so glad I met him.
That's awesome. I love that though too. I think it's too sometimes like I feel like when I do these like interviews and stuff, sometimes it's kind of like a fine line because I never want men or anybody to feel like the topics that we talk about means that we're like attacking them, if that makes sense, or it's like fuck men are the worst. I never want it to feel like that. Like I definitely want to make sure that there's a point that we kind of bring up, the people who are really like really advocating for us too. And I think that like in the Halo community, like as many bad negative apples that I run into, I can tell you that as of lately I've seen so much more good. Like I don't know if you guys have or anything, but like Unishek was literally wearing a Halo is for everyone shirt he was wearing a Woman of Halo shirt, and then I believe it was Clutch was wearing the Halo is for everyone shirt. And like I think that like that is just really cool, to like not a lot of I don't know too many game people who work at like game studios that are gonna walk up in in shirts like that. So I think that's really cool. I think that we're really lucky, honestly, in the Halo community, and a lot of that is because I think that a lot of the guys respect you all too, which I think is like really big too. I think that respect is a huge thing in gaming, not just gaming, like esports and all of that. Respect is huge, and I think that a lot of the men in the scene kind of are respecting the women and not even like respecting us more, because I feel like now we're louder than ever, right? Like we're out here kicking ass and stuff like that. I was gonna ask you, are any of you going to like Atlanta or any events this year?
yeah, I'm planning on going to all of them, including London. So
Oh, you're going
Same.
to London. Oh, you're going to London.
Yeah, trying to.
Yeah,
Planning on it.
Listen, if anyone from HCS is listening, listen, I know that it's probably so hard to release dates early, but listen, if you could please do that, I swear I would be at more events. I can't full send a ticket to London like 2 months before, dude. Like I cannot. I literally cannot. So please, if you're listening, help us. Are you both excited to go to London?
Oh my
Oh,
gosh, yes. So I'm really worried because the tickets sold out so fast for just GA. Like I feel like team passes are gonna be like they said it's gonna be limited. So I'm like just every single day I'm on the internet like I don't want to miss it. Like I hope they give us enough advance notice. Like I'm so concerned because I didn't get a GA pass. I didn't how am I supposed to go?
While we're talking about tickets right now too, with everybody that's listening, because there's a decent amount of you, if any of you are going to the Quadrant event, I'm literally begging you, do not go on there and buy team passes just because you did not get a GA pass. I'm literally begging you if you listen to anything that I say, please don't do that, because then all these people are going to show up and you guys are going to have nobody to watch because all of you bought team passes as spectators. So please, like, let Quadrant have the time that they need to cook a little bit before y'all go buying all the team passes if you're not competing, because that'll be the worst. That'll be like, you know, like that'll be absolutely devastating for a European Halo event, just to have all the tickets bought up by people who couldn't get a GA just for that. So like, just make sure, like, you guys are listening, like, don't do that, because my girl needs a team pass. Did you just hear her?
Please.
She needs a team
Or
pass.
put me on your team if you're gonna do that. Like,
Yeah, she needs a team pass, or if you're gonna do that, then hit her up. She needs something, because no one gets left behind. Sorry for my English if I'm wrong. I'm Italian. Oh, or do we play now? So Command Station plays now. Savage Giggles plays now. Biittersweet, do you do tournaments now, or are you just kind of doing back-end stuff?
I've been trying to enter tournaments for the last year, but every time a tournament happens, I end up working the tournament. So because I run all of the HCS, I'm the official HCS North American and Mexico regional lead. So I run all of the online Halo tournaments for 343. Yeah, so I do that as well on the side. So that's what I do for 343. That's why I work closely with them. And I've been trying to work at the events because I've been able to work at some of the events, but being Canadian and the US, there's work visas and stuff. Yeah, it's really difficult. But every time I've wanted to try and go to an event, I can't. But I've been trying to compete for like the past like 5 years, but because work has been like all over the place, it's always landing on a weekend. Tournaments are like, with esports blowing up, there's so many different tournaments happening on the same weekends, and it's just killer. Yeah.
What about that was something too that I've realized now lately. Like, I was competing a little bit, but now that I've started casting, I kind of can't do both.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
To, like, I have to like pick and choose and stuff
exactly.
like that. Like, hey, like now I can't do both. Like, I really want to I want to compete and have funsies, but I also just want to yell at everybody's awesome headshots. I don't know what they want from me.
You're torn, right?
I don't know what they want from me. So, what about Giggles? Are you doing the Cloud9 tournament this weekend?
I won't be. I'm actually going to be helping out at a local convention this weekend, so I won't be able to play.
Nice, that's fun. But Command Station's in it with Team TBA. We don't know yet. We'll find out on Saturday. So everybody make sure that they also watch on that too. So then, do any of you have any projects or anything that you're working on that people can look forward to, like coming from you or anything like that? We'll start with Biittersweet.
Oh gosh. So we're working on a lot of Women of Halo stuff. Obviously, you saw the one that's leaked out this upcoming couple weeks. So
yes,
I'm
honestly really funny.
Yeah, that was hilarious. I think the girls messaged me and they went, well, I guess it's announced. I was like, whoops, I should probably message them and be like, we getting that graphic out and letting people know about it. So we just rolled with it. So there's some projects with that. There's a lot of Women in Halo stuff that we aspire to do that I'm kind of trying to pitch the ideas to the girls, which I'll give like a little idea of. But we want to essentially send like our executive team to help media processes for sending us to events, so that way we can follow the ladies and start making content at events and follow them.
Which would be incredible.
Yep. So we can kind of hone in on the marketing side of Women of Halo to get us, we want to showcase all those skills for all the ladies out there. There is another upcoming tournament, which I can't say anything, but please mark your calendars, probably in a couple or months or so. It's being finalized, so working on that. Other than that,
is this end of June? Is this that around that time frame? We'll say.
I think so. Yeah. Okay,
so
you know it. Okay, all right.
Around the end of June for sure. Everybody, make sure that you definitely, because I remember talking about that, because when I was trying to come up with one, they're like, you can't do the end of June, and I was like, okay. I was like, not do the end of June.
Yeah. So okay, so you kind of have an idea. Yeah. So I mean, there's going to be some fun stuff. Yep. Tons of events, and a lot of other opportunities and events that we want to do internally with Women of Halo. And then on my other work and stuff, I have a bunch of projects right now with pretty big clients to run like different types of tournaments for Apex and Rocket League and Valorant. So if anyone plays those, that's open to everyone. So I'm going to be working on those. So you can just probably see on my socials whether I tweet out a tournament or not, all the projects I'm doing. So.
That's so sick. But I want to say a quick shout out to Dragonic. Thank you so much for the 5 gifted. I really appreciate it a lot. That's Hydra Gaming. If nobody knows, that is Mr. Hydra Gaming himself, a really good ally to the women of Halo and just the women communities in general, not even just the Halo title, other titles too. So thank you so much for stopping by. I really appreciate it. Command Station, what about you? What do you have going forward? Anything to look forward to, or anything that like people who want to support you can look forward to?
I mean, I've definitely been streaming more. My goals for this year is just getting first in a free-for-all, making
Let's
cool
go.
play in 4v4s on land, stuff like that. So
Your goal is to get first in a free-for-all. My goal is to not get first rounded in a free-for-all. We're almost the same. No, we're absolutely almost the same here. I don't know,
my goodness.
but that's cool too. So and there's gonna be free-for-all event. I mean, I guess Celeste might be able to answer this. There's free-for-all events at every HCS major now, right?
Yes, correct.
Which is, I personally love that. I don't know who made that be a thing, but I just want to say I love them. I love that. I love being a free-for-all kid. I have a lot of fun playing free-for-all, so it's always cool to do that. A lot of cool like side tournaments and stuff too. So what about you, Miss Giggles? Do you have anything going on? Anything people can look forward to, or anything like that you're working on or cooking up?
At the moment, I'm really just trying to focus on content creation. I'm going to be doing a lot more cosplay content on my social medias and stuff like that. So I'm trying to hit TikTok hard and all these other things. And obviously I stream too, so just a lot of that, and while also trying to maintain Halo practice and like still competing. So little of each
awesome,
on those.
I have a question. There's a video game character. I'm gonna try to describe her to you because I really don't know who she is. So I hope that I can do this because I don't know what game she's from. But I know that she's really tall. She wears like a white dress, and she has
Lady Dimitrescu.
Yeah, do you cosplay
From
her?
Resident Evil? Yes, I have cosplayed her. That was yes. Oh my gosh, the second I saw people on the internet like blowing up like Dobby Bobby, like tall vampire mommy, I was like, oh my gosh.
It's you.
It's
you. You
It's
should
me.
do it.
Yeah. No, I do have a cosplay that I made of her for her, but I just have to do some alterations. Like they don't make dresses very long, like women's clothing. It's just really hard to find when you're tall.
Yeah.
So I have to actually like make a whole new dress because the dress I have only goes like up my like halfway up my shins. And so yeah, for to be truly, like to show the height, like you have to have like a really long dress. So I got to work on that still. But yes, that was definitely the second I saw her, I was like, oh yeah, I have to.
I definitely would love to see you cosplay as her. That's for sure. That she's like so tall and so badass looking. She looks so evil. I don't even know, like I said, I don't even know what game she's from, but I saw everybody on TikTok cosplaying her and I was like, whoa. And the first time that I met you and I realized that you cosplayed, that's what I thought in my head. I was like, I wonder if she's ever cosplayed her before. That would be so badass. Sarah, thank you so much for that gifted too. So what about like, do any of you, let me see how I can word this question. Do any of you, aside from like tournaments things and like Halo things, do any of you have anything going on like outside of gaming that is like you have anything looking forward to in that retrospect? Like,
no, she goes no.
Absolutely not. Gaming's my life.
We're all just gamers. I know that's how I am too. So I never know what to say, honestly.
I do
go
too.
ahead.
But no, you go.
I was just like after kind of this year of competing, depending on how it goes, getting my degree to like go join the FBI, do agent work.
Ooh,
That's cool.
Work involved.
FBI,
so
open
I'd
up!
love
I'm
to
so
do that.
excited.
That'd
If
be
you get
sick.
assigned to my computer, just mind your business, please. Like,
Yeah. So, but yeah, I'm
That's
excited
awesome.
for that. It's kind of on the horizon. Like, if X, then Y. That'll happen. So.
Is that what you want to do after the military though? Is like go to the FBI?
That's what I want to do after I've really just like given esports a good run for sure.
Okay.
So
Do you have like I know there's like different positions per se within the FBI. Like, would you want to be like an investigator, or like is there like a technology? Like, I'm sure there's like a crime, like a technology crime sector and all that. Like, do you have a specific area that you want to go to, or is it just like I just want to be in the FBI?
Literally anything that involves some kind of brain power. I just really want a job that challenges me, please.
I love that. That's so cool.
So yeah.
Do you watch a lot of like murder mystery shows or anything at home?
Yes and no, but lately I've been watching like cartoony shows like Legend of Korra and like Rick and Morty. So
I love that. I love that. That's cool though. That's super cool. So not only is she badass on the sticks, but she's also badass IRL and smart as hell. That's
Thank you.
awesome. I love that. All of you all are. That's incredible. I think today has been a really, really, really fun show. We are at 9 o'clock, so that's basically going to be the end of the show. So I just want to remind everybody, each guest here has their own individual command in chat. So you can, whoa, hi guy, thank you so incredibly much for that 10 gifted right there. But each guest in chat has their own individual command. So I'm going to pop them all in here really quickly. And you please go follow all of them on all of their social medias and stuff like that. Make sure that you check in, see all of the things that they're doing. Definitely keep up with all of them. Definitely want to follow Women of Halo because, as Celeste said, there's going to be a lot of cool things that are being announced, especially if you're interested in competing. I'm wondering, Celeste, do you have the free agent list by any chance?
Handy like right now on me?
We don't have it right now. That's fine.
I don't know, but
isn't it on the Woman of Halo Twitter?
oh, look at that. You know what? I do have it. Boom.
As I say, bet. Can I post that?
Yeah, that's
Okay.
Yeah.
So this is going to be the free agent list. So if there's any women out there that's watching, and if any of you want to play in a Halo tournament, there's this Google document right here. You can add yourself on here, and yeah. So if you have like a player, like however many people are, if there's duos, solos, whatever, but you can definitely sign yourself up on here. You can see what other free agents are available. There's looking on here right now. There are so many names on here that are absolutely incredible that you could pick up to play with, even if it's just a tournament. Go meet some new friends though, but definitely go kind of explore that if you're interested in playing and stuff like that. It would be absolutely incredible. I just saw Savage Giggles, not me watching the stream. That's so funny. But yeah, so that's basically gonna be it from me. So we're gonna say goodbye to all the guests. So chat, join me in saying goodbye to all the guests. I want to thank you all so incredibly much. Biittersweet, Command Station, and Savage Giggles for kind of being on, taking time out of your day and coming here. I know that we had to reschedule a couple of times, so it's really cool that we were able to make it work. I really appreciate that. But yeah, everybody, absolutely, I'll have you back anytime that you want too. J9ers, what's up? You too. I'm coming for you next. I don't know what you're doing hiding there like that. Like, I don't know what you're doing. You're coming on next. So if Urzilla wants to go ahead and send directly to me really quickly, and then we're gonna close out the show. So bye everybody. Thank you so much. You three. So that's going to be the end of our episode today. This is going to be the end of Ladies Night episode 3. Or why did I say episode 3? Holy crap. Ladies Night episode 7. Powered by Evermedia and Glitch Energy. Again, huge shout out to HCS. Thank you so incredibly much for the drops. I really appreciate it. We will have drops again for the next episode, which is going to be on April 17th at 7 p.m. Eastern time. I'm going to have some really, really cool guests on the show. It's probably going to be the juiciest show that I've had yet. So I really hope that everybody comes through and shows up. I do want to give a special shout out and thank you to everybody in chat right now. All of you that sat around and hung out with me all day and listened to me yap. Thank you so incredibly much. This means the world to me. Having you all here and interacting in chat and having you all say like awesome stream and stuff, like thank you so much, because I truly do put a lot into these streams. So when you all come and show up and like say that, it just like makes my heart grow just a little bit bigger, like the Grinch. So I definitely want to thank you all so much. Thank you all so much to the viewers. Thank you to the guests of today's show. Thank you, Command Station and Savage Giggles and Biittersweet. And thank you, HCS. Again, we're going to round it off with, again, thanking HCS. Thank you so much for the drops, the support. Thanks for putting me on the community calendar. And ladies and gentlemen, again, in case you missed it, HCS put Ladies Night on the calendar for the 3rd time. So that means that we are the only podcast and talk show host that's community driven that has made it onto the community calendar more than once. We're the only stand-in show that's had the same type of content aside from that's not just your typical play date and stuff like that. So thank you all so incredibly much for just kind of sticking by and believing in me in this dream. It's been incredible, and I can't wait to see what else we can do, and that's going to be it for me. So thank you all, and I will see you on next week.